Hi, this is Christine with Leverage for Change Coaching and Consulting. Today I want to speak about, just touch on some points that I find in my practice so far of why it is that people find it difficult to change when they see that there's a problem. Um, the first thing is that the first thing I notice is that a lot of people just have become very comfortable in their dysfunction, pretty much. They've and these are I'm going to speak about these things and also kind of touch on the different attachment styles and which ones I see that these particular points is going to be more relevant for. Right. So, for example, uh, being so comfortable in your dysfunction, for example, this one is more for the dismissive avoidant. This one is going to be more for someone who has that attachment style, the dismissive avoidant style, because they are this type of attachment style, basically, they're quite comfortable being alone, right? And so they don't find it necessary. They don't feel that it's necessary. They may, when they're in relationships, they will have issues, but then when something doesn't feel good for them, they will leave. And it's easy for them to leave and just forget that person and forget that relationship. It's easy for them to leave. At least they show it outwardly that it's easy for them to leave, right? Sometimes I'm sure that depending on the relationship they had with that person is going to cause some kind of emotional thing inside, but they're not going to express that emotion because someone with this attachment style will not express that, you know, they're sorry or they're the ones causing the problem or whatever it is. They are just not willing to do that because then there comes this conversation about why you do it and all that, and that's just too much emotional intensity for them. So the fact that some people who find it difficult to change because they've become so familiar with this feeling of dysfunction, and also they've become really comfortable, and they have a lot of pride. The dismissive avoidance, they have this pride, like they're not going to show that vulnerability to want to change for anything, right? And so what I find also in my practice is that so far I've not had one dismissive avoidant. This is how difficult it is for someone with this attachment style to ask for help. They just won't ask for help because they're so set in their ways a lot of times, and they are quite fine. They don't have that anxiety of needing to be in a relationship with anyone. They'll be in a relationship, but they can let go of that relationship just as quickly as they get into it. Okay, so the next thing I see is someone who just basically, when there's a problem with a relationship, the blame game, any relationship that they're into, and if that relationship fails or during the relationship when there's a problem, it's usually somebody else's fault. So they never take responsibility of their part in the process, and they just blame and say this is because if this person just needs so much time, or this person did whatever it is that they will come up with. And again, this is also more so with the dismissive avoidant. They will more blame their partners for whatever went wrong in the relationship. And so they don't think there's anything wrong with them. They think if something is wrong, this person's too needy and they're too clingy and they want too much attention, that kind of a thing. So they'll blame others for their dysfunction, and they're quite, as I said before, they're quite okay being alone, so they don't feel the need to really have a relationship. When they feel the need, they'll go and find somebody for a while, and when that doesn't work, they just disappear, right? The next thing I find why it is that a lot of people don't ask for help or want to change is cultural expectations, right? Especially cultural expectations and the acceptance of those cultural expectations. And a lot of people coming from different countries have different cultural expectations. A lot of the men, a lot of it favors men. And in relationships, in that if a man misbehaves or cheats or does have multiple women, or whatever it is that they do, it is usually the excuses, and even from other women in that cultural thing. That is the sad part, because the women will take up for the men even when they're hurting other women. They'll say, oh, oh, he's a man, you can't expect any better. Or you will hear, it's just boys being boys, or something like that, right? And it's just like it's expected for men to cheat and have multiple partners and outside of their relationships and outside of their marriages. But if a woman does the same thing, it's a totally different experience, right? So cultural norms and expectations can be a problem. Why a person, a male, usually a man, will not seek help to change whatever is happening in their relationship. Even when they see and they notice, that, of course, they are the common factor in every relationship that's failed, but they will not accept it, because in a lot of cultural, in a lot of cultures, usually there are more women than men, and so they can just go from one woman to the next and feel it's fine. They have no sense of, they don't feel bad about it. So that's just how they were raised, even by the women in their culture. And because the women in their culture, even their mothers, who will say it's okay, or what, I mean, not say it's okay, but will give the green light to them to be able to do that, and without any repercussions, right? So the other reason I see why people won't seek help to get to change whatever the problem is in their, the way they interact in relationships, is overwhelm. They know there is a lot of stuff that is happening. They know it's their fault. These are people who may know, and usually the individuals I see coming to me, guys, are usually anxious, preoccupied, and the fearful avoidant, because they want relationships, and they really need to connect with people. This is how they are, and they really want to have a good relationship. And so these are the individuals, after a certain amount of time, they've gone through this and they realize that, oh my God, this is what's happening in all my relationships. I need help with this, because I really need to be happy in my relationships. The anxious, preoccupied, and the fearful avoidant, that has that too. The two sides, which is the anxious and the dismissive, will seek help, right? Because they realize that they are the common denominator in these relationships, these failed relationships, and they want to change. They want it to stop. They actually want relationships. The other thing is why a lot of people, they may want to change, but they cannot change because they keep the same, they're in this environment which, or they may develop a feeling of not changing, because it's just everybody in their environment is the same. It could be like a group of women or men in their, but usually it's men, guys. It's sad to say, but usually it's men that will be in a group of men who just, all of them just go out and look for women, even when they're married. They have extramarital affairs. It's like a given kind of thing. And if they want to change change how they, the way they act in relationships, they would need to leave that environment, because when you are in the middle of an environment that condones certain behavior, then you're going to continue to do those behaviors, right? And it's almost like another man cheering on the other person to say, oh yeah, you have like 50 million women, oh, you're a stud, or whatever it might be, that kind of a craziness, right? So the environment, when you need to when you want to change, one thing that stops people from making that change, and this happens with everything, guys, it's not only relationships. Any kind of change you need to make, if you remain in the same environment that's causing you to, that's enabling you to do the things that are not right for you, if you remain in that environment, it's going to be like difficult because to change, because you're constantly seeing that around you. You're constantly expected to do that because this is what everybody else does. All right, guys, I hope that helps. And you know with the point about overwhelm, guys, is I got a comment the other day, and it was really it really brought home to me that a lot of people, when they're overwhelmed, what they do is that they think, oh, I can't change because it's just too much. It's just too much. But guys, what I want you to realize is that whenever there is too much of anything that is always buzzing around in your head, what you need to do is do just one thing. Write down all the things that you think you need to change, and just try and work on one thing at a time. Master that and go on to the next. Because if you try to do everything at the same time, you will literally go crazy. Okay, so do just one thing, guys. Just one thing. Find one area that maybe is the worst, or even you might want to start with the least first because it's small, and then when you have master that, then you have a little win to kind of have that get pumped up about, and then you can go on to the next one, right? But always just do one thing. Okay, guys, so I hope that this has kind of open up a conversation about why it is that sometimes we don't want change, or we don't seek the change out that we need for our relationships, and just basically life to be successful in life. So guys, I hope you got something from this. This is Christine, your relationship and mindset master, doctor, and your leverage for change. If you learned anything from this, guys, please like and share this video for me, and also please subscribe to my channel. And then click the notification bell so that as soon as I upload something new, you will be notified. And thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye.